at polling unit 047. That's Sunday at Digu Cafe Street alongside Keja, Lagos.
A little disappointed that it hasn't been as well organized as I would have liked. It's past 8 o'clock and we're still here waiting for these guys to set up.
Please make sure you remain safe and do feed us with as much as possible information as you get them.
I am at Agor Palace Way at exactly one of the polling units where turmoil erupted during the electoral process on Saturday. At the heart of the location, where voters experienced the unfortunate disruption of the electoral process, sanity has since been restored. But unfortunately, residents of Agor Palace Way, as well as voters, still recall the incidents which played out at this exact location. The eyewitnesses share their personal views of the electoral process being carried out in the area.
Just some minutes when the security left, then the men came in and destroyed everything. Nobody was able to vote. Actually, my polling unit, we were more than 600, almost getting to 1,000 that came out to vote for the election. But just 200 were able to cast their votes. And even the 200, their ballot paper got burnt. So the election was not free. I don't think it's free at all.
Most of them didn't cast their vote. It happened immediately after I've done my own. Not quite long they came and they said, this junction you must vote for Say Baba. Say Baba you must vote for. If it's not Say Baba, by the time they go and come back, something else will happen. And by the time they went and come back, they scattered the pilot bus and set it on fire.
As far as I'm concerned, it is not free and fair. Because if it is free and fair, we say that you will vote whosoever you want, not by anybody compelling you to do otherwise.
We are like 200 people in queue. So before they came and started destroying everywhere, burn the paper, so destroy everybody, so we run.
They also had a message for the Independent National Electoral Commission.
Definitely it should come back because the election was disrupted yesterday. What happened yesterday is not something we should say it was free or fair. It wasn't free and it wasn't fair.
I will like INEC, either they will fix another day for the election to vote again. People will still come out to vote.
This is not the democracy our forefathers brought to us, in Nigeria. And I think we need to go back to our drawing board to know what the true meaning of democracy.
Democracy, as you have heard, is about a free, fair, and credible general elections. For PlusTVAfrica, Irene Ubani. After much anticipation of the elections, voters at Okota yesterday were thrown off balance as voting was marred by pockets of violence. At Agor Palace Way. This street yesterday was a beehive of election violence. This right here is the bike that was burnt in the heat of the electoral violence. Some residents, visibly still in shock and dismayed by the violence, recount their experiences.
He was sent and he was paid to do that in what he did yesterday.
Around 10 o'clock in the morning, the vote was going on. The SACS party, the things was going on perfectly okay. So later on, there was around maybe like 100 or 50 of them with bikes. They came to interrupt the voting.
They are also blaming the police for insufficient security at the polling unit. They say there was only one police personnel who came to the polling unit unarmed.
At the position at this unit here, and there was another unit over there. So at the moment, SACS was able to bring them down for the interruption, so they didn't succeed. So after the SACS take them off with the people, the juju and everything where they hold down, take them off. So the SACS left after like 30 minutes. Those people recruit to come back.
Ahead of the March 9 governorship elections in Lagos, there are concerns that this violence could lead to voter apathy amongst these residents.
Wetin I see yesterday, now war. I no go come out May they not kill me, I get family.
I don't think I'll come out and vote next time. The government is not trying about the security. They should do more. They should put more effort.
Polling Unit 23 of Agor Palace Way here in Okota in Lagos. This was exactly the place where the ballot boxes were burned here yesterday, and this seems to be one of the remains of the ballot boxes that were burnt yesterday, leaving over 400 persons literally disenfranchised from participating in the voting process. Peace and normalcy has since returned to the area barely 24 hours after. Mary Chinda reporting for Plus TV Africa.
You're still watching Plus TV Africa. Many thanks for joining us on News on the Hour at this time. I am Ifi Arono, and here are the stories making the headlines. President Muhammadu Buhari of the All Progressives Congress, APC, has won Osun State with 347,634 votes against PDP, which scored 337,377 votes. Total valid votes were 714,682. Rejected votes were put at 17,200, and total vote cast was 731,882.
For APC 347,634, 347,634. PDP 337,377, 337,377. Total valid votes 714,682. Total valid votes 714,682. Rejected votes 17200. 17200. Total votes cast 731,882. And the total number of the cancellation, vote from the cancellation centers, 12082, 12082, due mainly to overvoting. When they look at the number of accredited candidates and the number of people that voted at the end of the day, they found out that they have overflow and they have to cancel the total votes in those PU.
Signature?
We have the party agents. I think we have about 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 20 party agents.
Have endorsed the result at state level?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Stamped, signed, and dated?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Dated 24th February 2019.
Okay. Please step forward and present the originals to me.
Similarly, President Muhammadu Buhari of the All Progressives Congress, APC, has won Ekiti State with 219,213 votes. The returning officer for the state, Professor Idowu Olayinka, the Vice Chancellor, University of Ibadan, said out of the 395,741 that accredited to vote, APC scored 219,231 votes against PDP, which scored 154,034 votes. Total number of valid votes, according to Professor Olayinka, is 381,132, while 12,577 were rejected due to multiple thumb printing. Total votes cast, he said, is 393,709. The party agents are expected to inspect the result sheet signed at the State Collation Office. Ekiti State is the only state without a resident electoral commissioner.
Next is APC. 219,231 votes. 219,231 votes. 219,231. 219,231 for APC. PDP 154,032. 154,032. 154,032. 154,032. The total valid votes for all the 16 local government areas in Ekiti, 381,132. 381,132. 381,132. 381,132. That's the total number of valid votes. The rejected votes, 12,577. Rejected votes, 12,577. 12577. So the total votes cast, 393,709. 393,709. And this has been signed by my uncle self as the collation officer and endorsed by the agents of AAC, APC, PDP, PPN. So we thank the chairman of INEC for the opportunity to serve in this capacity.
Thank you very much, Scope.
Meanwhile, the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Atiku Abubakar, has defeated the All Progressives Congress flag bearer, Muhammadu Buhari, in the Federal Capital Territory after polling a total of 259,997 votes against Buhari's 152,224. The total votes cast in the FCT is put at 451,408. Meanwhile, Buhari defeated Atiku in Ekiti and Osun states, the first two states officially announced by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) on Monday. In Ekiti, President Buhari conquered the PDP candidate by 65,199 votes after polling a total 219,231 votes as against Atiku's 154,032 votes. According to the INEC returning officer and the Vice Chancellor of the University of Ibadan, Professor Idowu Olainka, the total number of registered voters in the state is 899,919 and the total number of accredited voters is 395,741.
Presidential results for the FCT as follows. Abaji, number of registered voters.
Now, tell us the total number of registered voters in the FCT.
Okay. Total number of registered voters in the FCT is 1,335,015.
Accredited voters?
Accredited voters, 467,784.
Valid votes?
Valid votes. Total valid votes are 423,000 951. Rejected votes 27,457. Total votes cast 451,408.
So tell us the scores by parties.
By parties. Total scores by parties as follows. APC 152,224. APC 152,224. PDP 259,997. PDP 259,997.
Are there places where election couldn't hold or election was cancelled, and why?
I know of one polling unit where election didn't hold, but it held the following day. Rek is here, and that was in Kuje.
Gorgoda. And you repeated?
It was repeated on Sunday, and the results were declared, and they are included in this submission.
Okay. Thank you very much. So can you step forward and present the original results to me, Scoop? Okay.
Well, President Muhammadu Buhari, accompanied by his wife Aisha, have arrived in Abuja, the nation's capital, after spending days at his hometown, Daura, Katsina State, where he had gone to participate in the presidential and National Assembly elections on February 23, 2019. The president was seen off at the Katsina airport by the state governor Aminu Masari and other officials of the state government. Moving on, Speaker of the House of Representatives Yakubu Dogara says he dedicates his victory in the just concluded National Assembly election in Bogoro Das Tafawa Balewa Federal Constituency to God and members of his constituency. Dogara stated this on Sunday in a series of tweets after he was declared the winner of the election. He said, and I quote, "I dedicate this victory to God first and our ever peace-loving and resilient people of Bogoro, Das, Tafawa Balewa Federal Constituency, who defied all odds to return me to the House of Representatives for an unprecedented fourth term." The speaker noted that with his re-election, history had been made in Nigeria. He said his constituents, despite unwarranted provocations, threats, intimidation, and attempts to subvert their will by undemocratic forces, made history by re-electing him. And on security matters, a police corporal identified as Sunday Doko was shot dead by a known gunman while escorting election results from Ipokia to the Ilaro Collation Center in Ogun State. The incident happened around 8 p.m. on Sunday in Eredo area of Yewa South local government area of the state. The gunmen were said to have laid an ambush at Eredo and began shooting sporadically at the vehicle conveying the election results and other materials. Results of the House of Representatives for Ipokia Yewa South Federal Constituency seat were being taken to Orona Hall in Ilaro. The State Police Public Relations Officer, Deputy Superintendent of Police Abimbola Oyeyemi, confirmed the incident. He said that the State Commissioner of Police Ahmed Iliashu had directed the Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of State Criminal Investigation and Intelligence Department, Wale Abase, to commence an investigation into the matter. And in Imo State, an INEC office has been set ablaze by hoodlums, says an official of the commission. Commission Emanuela Opara told our reporter that the INEC officer at Isialambano local government area of Imo State was raised by fire by unknown persons in the early hours of today, Monday. An official of the Commission, Emanuela, stressed that the Commission is yet to visit the office to ascertain the level of damage. Meanwhile, there was tension at the Senatorial Result Collation Center in Olo in the early hours of Monday. Witnesses told our reporter that police officers had to use tear gas to disperse a disparaged mob. The people were said to have been angered by the announcement by the returning officer. While the Acting Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, has ordered the immediate arrest and prosecution of perpetrators of alleged violence against a senior police officer on Sunday in Bayelsa. The Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of Federal SAS in Bayelsa, Kola Okwonla, was on Sunday allegedly taken hostage and stripped naked by thugs suspected to be sponsored by one of the political parties. Okwonla was held for allegedly refusing to append his signature on fake results sheets. A statement issued by the force spokesman Frank Kamba, an Assistant Commissioner of Police, on Monday in Abuja, said Adamu said that those involved would be prosecuted no matter their positions. The IG, who described the incident as unwarranted and unprovoked, warned that under his watch, such brazen acts of impunity would not be condoned. While the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has asked President Muhammadu Buhari to refer all cases of electoral violence to the International Criminal Court, ICC. In a letter by its Deputy Director, Kolawole Oluwadare, SERAP said all allegations of election-related violence, intimidation, and killings between 1999 to 2019 should be handed over to the ICC for onward investigation and prosecution. According to SERAP, given these cases the attention they deserve will send a very strong message that election-related violence, intimidation, and killings will not be tolerated. Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project sent an open letter to President Muhammadu Buhari urging him to immediately refer to the International Criminal Court pursuant to Article 13 of the Rome Statute, to which Nigeria is a state party. All allegations of election-related violence, intimidation, and killings between 1999 and 2019 for investigation and prosecution. The organization said, and I quote, "It is important to do this to send a powerful message that election-related violence, intimidation, and killings will not be tolerated under your watch." End of quote. And as Nigerians anxiously await the results of the presidential election, reactions continue to trail the presidential and National Assembly elections held last weekend, precisely on Saturday, with electorates and stakeholders sharing their experiences and views about the process. APC's deputy governorship candidate in Lagos State, Obafemi Hamzat, spoke to PlusTVAfrica's correspondent Amako Okoye at INEC's office at Yaba.
I think as a country, we have to take a look at the whole system. So let us look at what has worked in other parts of the world. Election is not centralized in most parts of the world. United Kingdom, United States, India, it's not. So, which means that imagine if we break it into, say, 6 zones. Say 6 zones, that's an example. And each zone can produce its own materials, ballot papers, all the rest. So, if, for example, in Southwest, it goes to Ibadan, Ibadan can quickly drive to Ekiti and the rest. So the materials with better control. If it is South, let's say it's in Port Harcourt, it can quickly go to Akwa Ibom and the rest. If it is Northwest, maybe it's in Kano, you can go to. So they all report to the chairman, but they have control over their zones. So it will be faster, it will be cheaper, it will be easier, and then results can come out quickly. So why do they, after the result, our understanding is that the moment it enters there, it goes into the same server. So why do people then need to travel to Abuja? It's just, I think it's just impossible. We need to streamline it so that it's easier.
Moving on, the Economic Community of West African States Election Observation Mission has called on Nigerians who contested the presidential and National Assembly elections to accept the results in good faith. The mission gave the advice in its preliminary report signed by its head, Mrs. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, and made available to journalists on Monday. In the spirit of the commitment made in the Peace Accord of February 13, 2019, the mission urges the candidates to accept the verdict of the polls in good faith and in case of complaints to seek redress by legal means solely. The mission, however, calls upon INEC and other stakeholders to approach the final phases of the process with fairness and transparency until the announcement of the final results. Well, the African Union Election Observation Mission to Nigeria, AUELM, on Monday stated the failure of INEC to provide essential materials during the Saturday elections marred the outlook of the election. According to a preliminary report released by the group during a press briefing in Abuja on Monday, all 16 voting points observed by the AUELM in rural and urban areas were delayed for over an hour over late arrivals of polling officials and election materials, as well as poor preparation of voting points. The group also noted that polling staff in general did not demonstrate sufficient knowledge and competence in application of the opening. In addition, the reports disclosed that 13 of the 16 voting points observed were not accessible to persons with disabilities (PWDs) due to their placement in uneven ground. The head of mission AUELM and former Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Hailemariam Desalegn Boshe, congratulated INEC but urged the Commission to expeditiously and transparently collate and announce the results of the election. AUELM also implored Nigerians and stakeholders to refrain from disseminating fake news and information, particularly on the results.
The 2019 elections took place in a generally peaceful environment. The mission notes the destruction of election materials, including over 4,000 smart card readers, ballot boxes, and voter registers in certain parts of the country, impacted on the timely conduct of the elections. The mission recognizes the operational and logistical challenge faced by INEC that led to the postponement of the original date of the 2019 elections. At the same time, it is concerned by the pattern of consistent postponement of elections, which have implications for citizens' participation and turnout. The AU Election Observation Mission commends the Nigerian government for the passage of the Not Too Young to Run Act, which enhances youth participation and political representation in the 2019 elections by reducing the age limit for the office of the presidency.
Let's take a quick break. Do stay tuned for more news when we return. You're welcome back, and now to other parts of Africa. Following the dissolution of government on Friday, in addition to declaration of state of emergency, President Nasser appointed Mohamed Tahi Eila as the new Prime Minister. Eila, who is the former governor of the agricultural state of Jazeera, was sworn in on Sunday at a ceremony. Today, a new chapter begins in Sudan's history. Bashir, dressed in a military uniform, said at the ceremony. Defense Minister General Awad Ibunef was sworn in as the first vice president after his predecessor Bakri Hassan Saleh was sacked by Bashir. Bashir also swore in 16 army officers and 2 officers from the National Intelligence and Security Service dressed in military uniforms as new governors for the country's 18 provinces. The news continues after this break. And in foreign news, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres on Monday warned against the rise of hate speech around the world and a threat to the pillars of humanity as he opened the UN Human Rights Council's main annual session in Geneva. Guterres said, and I quote, "Hate is moving into the mainstream in liberal democracies and authoritarian states alike," and the quote. While the 47-member Council's resolution are not binding, all countries worked hard to avoid its naming and shaming. UN High Commissioner for Human Rights Michelle Bachelet also addressed the council and said she hoped the violence in Venezuela would end after Venezuelan troops repelled foreign aid convoys. As host country, Switzerland, represented by Ignacio Casas, head of the Federal Department of Foreign Affairs, raised concerns about the violations of the rights to free speech, citing journalists Jamal Khashoggi and Jan Kusiat, both killed in 2018. Saudi Arabia will face criticism for the murder of Khashoggi and its failure to cooperate with a UN-led inquiry.
We are also seeing a groundswell of xenophobia, racism and intolerance, including rising anti-Semitism and anti-Muslim hatred. Hate speech is a menace to democratic values, social stability and peace. It spreads like wildfire through social media, the internet and conspiracy theories. It is abetted by public discourse that stigmatizes women, minorities, migrants, refugees and any so-called other. Indeed, hate is moving into the mainstream in liberal democracies and authoritarian states alike. Some major political parties and leaders are cutting and pasting ideas from the fringes into their own propaganda and electoral campaigns. And parties once rightly considered pariahs are gaining influence over governments. And with each broken norm, the pillars of humanity are weakened.
Every day we are dealing with a lot of conflicts and challenges in the planet. And the world's heights have been in Venezuela, especially in the last few days. Yesterday, my office made a statement regarding the situation, that we hope violence will end and that respect for human rights will be part of the solution.
Up next is business news. In business news, a total of $39.9 billion was injected by the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, into the nation's foreign exchange market between January and December 2018. This was contained in the analysis of fixed injection in the economy in the fourth quarter economic report by the Apex Bank. This comes with the CBN's frequent interventions about 3 times a week to maintain liquidity. This intervention covers the demand for forex by dealers in the wholesale segment of the market, as well as other sectors of the economy such as agriculture, manufacturing, and small and medium enterprises segment, among others. An analysis of the intervention showed that the Apex Bank injected about $10.97 billion into the foreign exchange market in the first quarter of 2018. In the second quarter, the figure went down by $3.09 billion, while the third quarter of 2018 had $11.88 billion recorded. However, in the fourth quarter, $9.18 billion into the foreign exchange market was made. Still ahead on Plus TV Africa News is our roundup on entertainment and sports news. We will be right back.
It for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Booking November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
You're welcome to entertainment news. There is a comedy show showing up, and it is by fast-rising comedian Chima Raphael, which is set for the maiden edition tagged Chima Raph in the Line of Duty. The show is set to hold on the 3rd of March 2019 and will feature other comedians such as Your Funny Bone, Senator MC Abe, Kofi, among many others. The event is set to take place at Throne of Grace in Surulere in Lagos. Chima Raf promises to bring comedy at its original form, as it will be less music and more comedy.
In a world that needs comedic justice, where good jokes are hard to find, there is one man who is ready to lay it all on the line for comedy. Chima Ralph in the Line of Duty, the Laugh Comedian, starring Kenny Black, Acapella, Funny Bone, Kofi, Yor, Woli, Arole, Ogolo, Ajebo, Senator, and many more. Sunday, March 3rd, 2019. Venue, Throne of Grace, 4749, Unobi Street off Kilo Bus Stop, Surulere, Lagos. Time, 3 p.m. Tickets available online at busybody.ng. Regular, 2,000. Table seat, 10,000. Table for 6, 50,000. Table for 10, 100,000. For tickets and enquiry, call 080-647-2581. Supported by Chima Ralph in the Line of Duty.
And that's it on entertainment. The very best in sports right after this.
Which kind of wire you gonna need to light up your life, eh? Oh man, the quality wire. Now which kind of cable you gonna need to light up your house, eh? Oh man, the quality cable. Coleman quality. Coleman wire. Coleman durable. Coleman cable. Coleman tank. Coleman cable for any kind of project. Coleman be the come and see. Now come and be the Coleman won't light up your life. Now come and be the come and see. Now come and be the C-O-L-E-M-A-A. Quality. Durable. Oh yeah. Now come and be the Baba.
Welcome to Sports News. Reactions from the sporting world as a whole continues to trail the shameful refusal of Chelsea's goalkeeper Kepa Arrizabalaga to be substituted during the Carabao Cup final yesterday. Former Chelsea and Manchester United manager Jose Mourinho has weighed in on the controversy, saying, "I'm really sad. I don't like that he leaves his coach and the assistant coach in a situation of great fragility, and his teammate who was ready to enter the match and who in the end saw himself in the middle of a problematic situation that had nothing to do with him." End of quote. Mourinho, however, praised Kepa's confidence, personality and mentality for his insistence to be between the sticks for the shootout. And still in sports, ahead of the heavyweight clash slated for June 1st, Anthony Joshua and Jarrell Miller faced off at a press conference in London, the second media round to promote their fight. Both boxers had this to say regarding their chances ahead of the bout.
It's just another opponent. You need a dancing partner, right? You need a dancing partner, and Jarrell's a good dancing partner. And I'm only champion until June 1st. That's when I've got to go out there to the battlefield and defend my stripes. And then June 2nd, Jarrell will be irrelevant, and then I step forward onto the next task ahead of me. So
you got to go balls to walls, man. There's no turning back. There's no ifs, and buts about it. If I ever doubted myself one step of the way, I would not have made it this far. And we're going to continue to keep going forward, and we're going to continue to work hard. And the game plan is to stop us behind in 7 rounds, point blank, period. Like I said, my mental focus on ground is unmatched, period.
And that does it on Sports News and as well on our news roundup of events this hour. For more news and updates, please follow us at PlusTVAfrica on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. and do subscribe to our YouTube page at PlusTVAfrica. We'll be back later with more stories making the headlines. Do join us again. I am Ifi Arono. Have a great time.
To each of the party can be defended with the number of ballot papers that is in their possession. So that, because of like the one they recorded 148 for before, when they now went back, they now recorded 42 instead of 142. So I want them to just give us an assurance and we believe them with whatever they tell us now. I told you that I swear not to do this job. And I think I saw it in the regulation that when you are doing this job, you swear to an oath. So there is a legal aspect to that. Thank you very much. All right. Hello, sir. My name is Senator Fatai, AD, August Party. My question, sir, when there is problem, there will be solution. So the already have the solution. So let's go this side.
APC 347 634 347 347 634 PDP 337 377 337 377.
I am at Agor Palace Way at exactly one of the polling units where turmoil erupted during the electoral process on Saturday. At the heart of the location, where voters experienced the unfortunate disruption of the electoral process, sanity has since been restored. But unfortunately, residents of Agor Palace Way, as well as voters, still recall the incidents which played out at this exact location. The eyewitnesses share their personal views of the electoral process being carried out in the area.
Just some minutes when the security left, then the men came in and destroyed everything. Nobody was able to vote. Actually, my polling unit, we were more than 600, almost getting to 1,000 that came out to vote for the election. But just 200 were able to cast their votes. And even the 200, their ballot paper got burnt. So the election was not free. I don't think it's free at all.
Most of them didn't cast their vote. It happened immediately after I've done my own. Not quite long they came and they said, this junction you must vote for Say Baba. Say Baba you must vote for. If it's not Say Baba, by the time they go and come back, something else will happen. And by the time they went and come back, they scattered the ballot box and set it on fire.
As far as I'm concerned, it is not free and fair. Because if it is free and fair, we say that you will vote whosoever you want, not by anybody compelling you to do otherwise.
We are like 200 people in queue. So before they came and started destroying everywhere, burn the paper, so destroy everybody, so we run.
They also had a message for the Independent National Electoral Commission.
Definitely it should come back because the election was disrupted yesterday. What happened yesterday is not something we should say it was free or fair. It wasn't free and it wasn't fair.
I will like INEC, either they will fix another day for the election to vote again. People will still come out to vote.
This is not the democracy our forefathers brought to us, in Nigeria. And I think we need to go back to our drawing board to know what the true meaning of democracy.
Democracy, as you have heard, is about a free, fair, and credible general elections. For PlusTVAfrica, Irene Ubani.
APC 308984. APC 308984. PDP 138184. PDP 138184.
I think as a country, we have to take a look at the whole system. So let us look at what has worked in other parts of the world. Election is not centralized in most parts of the world. You know, United Kingdom, United States, India, it's not. So, which means that, imagine if we break it into, say, 6 zones. Say 6 zones, that's an example. And each zone can produce its own materials, ballot papers, all the rest. So, if, for example, in Southwest, it goes to Ibadan, Ibadan can quickly drive to Ekiti and the rest. So the materials we better control. If it is South, let's say it's in Port Harcourt, it can quickly go to Akwa Ibom and the rest. If it is Northwest, maybe it's in Kano, you can go to. So they all report to the chairman, but they have control over their zones. So it will be faster, it will be cheaper, it will be easier, and then results can come out quickly. You know, so why do they, after the result, our understanding is that the moment it enters there, it goes into the same server. So why do people then need to travel to Abuja? It's just, I think it's just impossible. We need to streamline it so that it's easier.
I am at Agor Palace Way at exactly one of the polling units where turmoil erupted during the electoral process on Saturday. At the heart of the location, where voters experienced the unfortunate disruption of the electoral process, sanity has since been restored, but unfortunately, residents of Agor Palace Way, as well as voters, still recall the incidents which played out at this exact location. The eyewitnesses share their personal views of the electoral process being carried out in the area.
Just some minutes when the security left, then the men came in and destroyed everything. Nobody was able to vote. Actually, my polling unit, we were more than 600, almost getting to 1,000 that came out to vote for the election. But just 200 were able to cast their votes. And even the 200, their ballot paper got burnt. So the election was not free. I don't think it's free at all.
Most of them didn't cast their vote. It happened immediately after I've done my own. Not quite long they came and they said, this junction you must vote for Say Baba. Say Baba you must vote for. If it's not Say Baba, by the time they go and come back, something else will happen. And by the time they went and come back, they scattered the ballot box and set it on fire.
As far as I'm concerned, it is not free and fair. Because if it is free and fair, we say that you will vote whosoever you want, not by anybody compelling you to do otherwise.
We are like 200 people in queue. So before they came and started destroying everywhere, you know, burn the paper, so destroy everybody, so we run.
They also had a message for the Independent National Electoral Commission.
Definitely it should come back because the election was disrupted yesterday. What happened yesterday is not something we should say it was free or fair. It wasn't free and it wasn't fair.
I will like INEC, either they will fix another day for the election to vote again. People will still come out to vote.
This is not the democracy our forefathers brought to us, in Nigeria. And I think we need to go back to our drawing board to know what the true meaning of democracy.
Democracy, as you have heard, is about a free, fair and credible general elections. For PlusTVAfrica, Irene Ubani.
APC 152224. APC 152224. PDP 259997. PDP 259997.
This is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Vicky November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on PlusTVAfrica.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
APC 289903. APC 289903. PDP 283847. PDP 283847.
This TV station, PlusTVAfrica, is designed to help to create a paradigm shift. The more we tell our stories, the more we learn from whatever our past mistakes have been.
We can be much more than we are. We should be doing a lot in refineries.
And we are definitely investing in our staff. We're training, we're developing, we're creating the kind of workforce that will be the envy of the international broadcast. The quality of the reportage, the quality of our presentation, the quality of our production will be obvious. We're saying that we want to reach Africans wherever they are and get the message across to them. That's what PlusTVAfrica is all about.
APC 347634. 347347 PDP 337
First point of accountability is asking questions.
Hello and welcome to Plus Sports and Plus TV Africa. I am Udoka Njoko.
Hi everyone, welcome to Plus Training.
You cannot continue to recycle poverty while you're spending a lot of money on unproductive ventures.
The government has to feel the impact.
Honorable Commissioner, sir, welcome to the show.
APC 308984. APC 308984. PDP 138184. PDP 138184.
To each of the party can be defended with the number of ballot papers that is in their possession. So that because of like the one they recorded 148 for before, when they now went back, they now recorded 42 instead of 142. So I want them to just give us an assurance and we believe them with whatever they tell us now.
That I sure am not to do this job, and I think I saw it in the regulation that when you are doing this job, it's swear to an oath. So there is a legal aspect to that. Thank you very much.
All right.
Hello, sir. My name is Senator Fatai, AD, August Party. My question, sir. When there is problem, there will be solution. So they already have a solution. So let's do this.
That's the Brazilian who, with the longer blades that Austria wasn't too impressed with. 200 meters, but we must stress, absolutely legal.
Sounds of the surf.
Yeah. Now that he's a hater, I don't want no bad energy. Man get used by a radar, can't see my enemy.
And this time they are away, and Peacock goes away strongly.
She wants a man from London, she wants a fellow with felonies. That's not my team. There's no I in it, I bring it on my team. Just in this so much team.
is absolutely bottomless.
I think as a country, we have to take a look at the whole system. So let us look at what has worked in other parts of the world. Election is not centralized in most parts of the world. You know, United Kingdom, United States, India, it's not. So, which means that imagine if we break it into, say, 6 zones, that's an example, and each zone can produce its own materials, ballot papers, all the rest. So, if, for example, in Southwest, it goes to Ibadan, Ibadan can quickly drive to Ekiti and the rest. So the materials we better control. If it is South, let's say it's in Port Harcourt, it can quickly go to Akwa Ibom and the rest. If it is Northwest, maybe it's in Kano, you can go to. So they all report to the chairman, but they have control over their zones. So it will be faster, it will be cheaper, it will be easier, and then results can come out quickly. You know, so why do they, after the result, our understanding is that the moment it enters there, it goes into the same server. So why do people then need to travel to Abuja with that? It's just, I think it's just impossible. We need to streamline it so that it's easier.
That is how we get looped into a cycle of insanity, repeating the same thing and expecting a different result. That cycle of failure is unsustainable and it has to end now.
Perfection train is back.
They take us to the bush and start asking us to call our people to send money.
What can be done as an intervention for them right now to stop abuse of all children?
Results are rolling in as Nigeria awaits expectantly for the announcement of the winner of the presidential election 2019 in Nigeria. And here on Plus TV Africa, we're keeping you up to speed and bringing you all the information as we get them. All right, we're still here. We will be getting to the Lagos Collation Center now, where we're going to speak with our correspondent who is on the ground to let us know what is going on. But before we do that, I have guests with me in the studio. My name is Felicity Eziwike, by the way. I have guests with me in the studio. We have Adewale Ademola Justice. Thank you very much for coming in. It's a public affairs analyst. A pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Ugochukwu Ekaako, political analyst. Thank you very much for coming in. Gentlemen, so far, so good or not?
Well, it depends on the camp, but I think it's been an okay election, despite the pocket of violence and the issues around the election, the delay, the abduction of police officers that we saw yesterday in Bayelsa State, and the intimidation of INEC officials. I think so far it's been a good one, and let's just wait out and see what the result will be at the end.
Okay, just to intimate you on some of the things we were expecting to be looking at this moment, the collation center will reopen in a few minutes from now. We're going to join them live. In the meantime, we have our correspondent here in Lagos at the collation center getting us all the information. She's on standby to speak to us. Let's see if she is on the phone already. Amaka, are you there?
Yes, please, I am.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Okay, could you give us the latest from the collation center?
Okay, so Felicity, this process that began 10 p.m. yesterday is now done and dusted. So all results have been collected from this center, collation center here in Yaba, and being taken right about now to Abuja, to the international center. in Abuja, where the final announcement will be made. Generally speaking, we'll say that everything went well. It was calm and peaceful here. There was heavy presence of military personnel, you know, from police to civil defense to Nigerian customs. Everyone was here on ground. And according to the results announced by the Lagos State Returning Officer, Professor Felix Kolawole, it noted that total votes cast in Lagos here is 1,156,590, which you can say is 20% compared to the voters in Lagos, because Lagos registered about 6.5 million, and what we have total vote cast is 1,156,590. If you do the math, you realize that that is 20%. And valid votes here in Lagos was 1,089,567. Rejected votes, 66,023. So you can see that there is a huge gap there. It's just about 20% of Lagosians which they all lamented that it can be better. You know, everyone who comes to us here says it can be better. Now, again, according to, I would quote the returning officer, Felix Kolawole, Professor, he announced that all the collected for the People's Democratic Party is 448,015 votes. And for the APC, it is 580,825. So as we speak now, the returning officer told us that they will be heading to Abuja straight away, where the official announcement will be made. You would agree with me that Lagos is a heavyweight, so it will be one of the results that they'll be waiting for there in Abuja. And so they are making their way to Abuja now. So I can tell you that it is done and dusted from the collation center here in Yaba.
Amaka, before we let you go, I actually have two questions more. The first is, was there any announcement for a recount, considering some of the pockets of violence that was experienced in places like Okota and the likes?
Can you take that again?
I say, is there any, was there any announcement of a recount in places where there were pockets of violence, like Okota?
Okay, so that was raised here, but the returning officer, again, if I may quote him, Professor Felix Kolawole says he is not in position to respond to that. That will be decided. He can't decide that will be decided by INEC boss after the announcement, the official announcement in Abuja.
What areas are these? What likely areas was mentioned?
Sorry, can you take that again?
I said, which of the local governments were mentioned where there were issues, aside from Okota, which we all are aware of?
The place that we certainly know had issues was particularly Okota, and that was the question that was raised. He didn't attempt to respond to others because he says he's not in position to do that.
Okay, has the center officially closed now?
Yes, the center closed at about 7:15 p.m. All results collected, so it's done and dusted.
Thank you very much, Amaka, for the good work you've done today.
All right, thank you.
Right, that's our correspondent on the ground. Lagos is done and dusted, according to her. And you heard what she just said about, you know, the percentage of people that came out. How would you react to that? Of the number of people that are registered, just 20% of that figure came out.
I think we're still battling with the issue of voters' apathy in the country, and even across River State, witness the same issue. I think part of the reasons for me why people didn't turn up is the threat of violence is a big discouragement to some people. Look at River State, look at Lagos State, they had like similar issues. So some people might have at the election day, maybe they were eager to go out, and when you hear these stories coming out and the rest of them, it might serve as a deterrent to someone that wants to go out. So if the numbers doesn't look good, it's not encouraging, bearing in mind that Lagosians are upwardly mobile people. I expected more that they will have 50% 50%, but 20% is poor for me.
Do you think that there's a possibility the postponement might have contributed as well to the level of turnout?
Not really. I say for the whole things we have seen in Nigeria as a people, the bulk of this apathy emanated even before now. We are a people that are compelled in most cases to comply with some things because of sheer officialdom. A lot of people registered for PVC, not for the purpose of voting.
Despite the advocacy, the social media
advocacy never got to some extent. There are a lot of people that were cut out of the old publicity. Do you understand? So many Nigerians held on to PVC just to obtain a valid means of ID. And some other persons were in apprehension of the fact that certain national responsibilities might need the provision of that ID. Do you understand? Not for electoral purpose. And again, you know, like he has said, apathy is there, insecurity is there, and unfortunately, Lagos as a place is preoccupied by a larger volume of enlightened people. And you know, in our electoral practices, more of enlightened people do not take part in elections.
Why is that?
Because of the relatively higher sense of security. They feel it's less of theirs, that they need to be protected. They need to be safer back home, rather than going out to get exposed in the course of electioneering activities. Okay,
some results, some states have. I think we've had FCT, we've had Kwara, Ekiti State, Osun State. Quite a number of states have, you know, the results so far. Are these results expected, or are they places where you feel they might have been the usual expectation of one particular party heading?
No, for me, I think the results are coming in, but the challenge is that you have in some places, I think either or your state or Ekiti State, where the number of council votes is higher than the number of votes that both the APC and the PDP got per se. So for me, it's not encouraging. Here we're witnessing a situation where, because of violence, people that went out to vote, who went out, you know, registered themselves, became a part of the process to identify or to select whoever they want to be as their leader. And because of that, their votes didn't count. Because and this is not just in what's it called? We just said the reporter said in Lagos at 66,000. So at the end of the day, you see that a large 66,000 is huge. All right, same thing across the federation. So for me, the pain is that maybe going forward, INEC should find out a mechanism on how to stop issues like this, because people don't just go out, take out their time to vote, and you render a quite large number of votes, you know, invalid because of somebody came there to constitute nuisance, to deprive people of their right to identify who they want as a leader.
But it's a deliberate act, isn't it?
See, like I quite disagree with your position. You see, it is a process, and there are conditions and preconditions. Election was meant to be conducted, and there are guiding principles. Simple logic posits that people should come as matured as possible, do what you are supposed to do within the ambits of the law, and watch over the process, not to cause mayhem.
Yeah, but my question is, you've taken his question. My question is, isn't this a deliberate action? Because people don't just wake up and suddenly there is violence. Somebody has to instigate it. So there is the accusation that the violence was intentional. In places where boxes were burned, ad hoc staff were maimed in the process.
Intentional by who?
Maybe party faithfuls.
See, you know, there was something we were saying before now. If you look at a particular voting unit or a particular voting center, if election had taken place, unfortunately, counting wouldn't have been done. I wouldn't know if there were areas where counting had been done and violence erupted and destructions came place.
I'm not sure now, but when the Kogi announcement was being done, I think one of the PDP officials, reps said they agreed that a particular local government should not be
in Kogi State. That was
due to violence that occurred. So, I mean, how do you connect that with what he just said?
You understand? So that's what I'm saying. it definitely must have been instigated by a factor. But unfortunately, while the counting and the announcement and the cancellation in most cases get announced, the real cause of whatever mayhem wouldn't have been ascertained. So it must have been deliberate in some instances, and in some instances it will be reactionary.
Okay, let's go to the collation of results so far. There doesn't seem, compared to 2015, have you noticed maybe a difference in the number of complaints that have come up? Because we know that when Ekiti announced its result, there was no response from the party members. There was no issues raised up until when we had Kogi. I think one person came up and was mentioning previous records that was presented. Compared to 2015, let me come to you. Do you think that there's, so far, do you think in the same period of time last year, the number of complaints at the collation center, is it more or less?
I think it's more. I think it's more. The idea of democracy, the idea of governance is improvement, is getting things done better. If we had issues in 2015, the idea is that in 2019, it shouldn't be the same thing. We should have made progress, all right? So I find it difficult to agree with Nigerians that think that because it was bad before, it should be bad at this point.
No, but in comparison to 2015.
No, in comparison to 2015 is bad. Because the truth is this, we're witnessing a situation where the REC in Imo State said that the current governor held him hostage. We've seen a situation where the DCP in Brass Number yesterday was held by the community member. So these things affect the result at the end of the day because it doesn't make the process look good. All right, the REC and whoever is in charge can come and announce the result and say, okay, this is what will go from the collation center. But I'm more interested in the whole process. All right, there's not enough transparency in this. And it's going to raise a lot of dust after the election because already we've seen that the PDP have raised a statement to say that they are not happy with the entire process and the rest of them. They are entitled to their view and their opinion.
Yeah, we're actually going to talk about that.
They're entitled to their view and the opinion. And Chidoka has raised an instance. We all saw that when he was talking to the INEC chairman. So the whole thing is this. I think it would have made more sense if at this point that the whole process of collection and everything went well so that these issues will not be talking about it again. Because the truth is this, things are not better the way it was in 2015, and that's my honest opinion.
Do you agree with him?
I quite disagree completely with his position. Because you will see, if I may ask categorically, how many pockets of complaints have we gotten vis-a-vis what we had? Because you would, if you were in Nigeria in 2015, at the wake of the collation and the announcement, by this time there was heat everywhere.
But you see,
you understand?
But you see, that's an entirely different subject.
No, we are comparing.
See, what the question was, the number of complaints so far at the collation center that was raised. That
is much. For example, I just mentioned, for example, there are issues about collation in Lagos State. All right, there are issues about collation in River State. There are issues about collation in Kogi State, and Akwa Ibom had same issue yesterday. At the point, it was all over in the news that one of the REC is having an issue, is having a difficult time over there. So this whole thing is not about. In 2015, for me, it was a little bit seen. What we had drama was when Urubebe decided to speak up and say whatever he wanted to say at that point at the ICC, that's the International Conference Center in Abuja, of 2015. But we didn't witness a lot of drama associated with collecting results, voter suppression, the way we've seen it. And the truth is that this whole thing affects the process and the result itself. Because for me, so if people can't vote freely and if people are not there to watch their vote, what are you collecting?
Adewale, is that the perspective you're taking?
Not at all. Not at all. I wouldn't know if there's anybody who was in Nigeria then, and now you are still in Nigeria, and you want to tell me that we have more complaints now than then. We were all here. There were hits everywhere. There were troubles. Everybody was hanging. A lot of people, a lot of complaints. But now, relatively, we have more coordination. Do you understand? But like you said, if you look at the issue of voters' apathy and people's turnout to voting is poorer. Do you understand? But about complaints, because some of these complaints up until now, they are not yet formal. Do you understand? Because some of this, most of this that you have said now are not formal yet. And even being informal are not still as they were in 2015. At this period of the election.
I disagree. Because see, the truth is, you can't be saying complaints are not formal. We watched on election day where voters categorically stated they were not allowed to vote in certain places across the country because they said vote for this party and the rest of them. This, to an extent, like I said earlier in the beginning, that this, you see the low turnout in Lagos, 20%. That is poor. That is poor.
So the
last year, I don't know, people... was it more than 20% last year?
I don't have that figures presently. Okay. But bear in mind that we had an increase with the numbers of voters in Lagos compared to 2015. All right, and we had new people who had first-time voters coming in. So it's normal to have an increase with that in mind, but it's not showing the result is quite different.
Okay, let's look at the statement now, and then we're also going to take a look. I don't know if, well, as soon as they come on, of course, we're going to have to join them, but we'll just take as much of the conversation as we can cover at this time. You mentioned already the PDP issuing a statement that they're rejecting the presidential result. Wouldn't you say, let me come to you, wouldn't you say it's a bit premature to be rejecting a presidential result that is still in the process of being collated?
You see, as a student of politics and political engineering, it doesn't come as a surprise, because you just have to cry as much as a wolf when you are seen as having been defeated. And you know, there are two major parties here, and it is obvious that these guys have made it. The other guys wouldn't just lie low and be watching. So if PDP is crying now or be shouting or saying or preempting reporting fraud or the rest is expected. If you are active in political engineering and electioneering processes, you will know that opposition or a party that is almost losing out definitely will cry out. So it's not surprising.
I'm still going to come back to you, but let's just watch the video of the PDP statement about the election.
Currently being announced by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is incorrect, thus unacceptable to our party and the people. Secondly, officials of both President Buhari's government and All Progressive Congress APC, working with INEC officers, have tried to alter the course of history and disenfranchise our people through the cancellation and manipulation of figures for results already announced at polling units. They are under pressure. The situation we find ourselves is like as if we're in the military era. We have never seen this type before, where at the end of the election, the villa will dispatch security agencies and ministers to all parts of the country. We are in possession of all the polling unit results. Where they manipulate is where we are talking about. But where there is free and fair, we didn't talk about FCT. We pointed out, and from time to time we will update you with areas we believe that they have manipulated.
There you have the statement. We'll go on a quick break and we'll come back and we'll talk about it.
Right now at polling unit 047, that's Sunday at Digu Cafe Street alongside Keja, Lagos.
A little disappointed that it hasn't been as well organized as I would have liked. It's past 8 o'clock and we're still here waiting for these guys to set up.
Please make sure you remain safe and do feed us with as much as possible information as you get them.
Each of the party can be defended with the number of ballot papers that is in their possession. So that, because of like the one they recorded 148 for before, when they now went back, they now recorded 42 instead of 142. So I want them to just give us an assurance and we believe them with whatever they tell us now.
That I sure am not to do this job. And I think I saw it in the regulation that when you are doing this job, it's right and good. So there is a legal aspect to that. Thank you very much. All right. Hello, sir. My name is Senator Fatai, AD, August Sudanese Party. My question, sir, when there is problem, there will be solution. So the already have the solution. So let's go this side.
APC 347 634 347 347 634 PDP 337 377 337 377.
I am at Agor Palace Way at exactly one of the polling units where turmoil erupted during the electoral process on Saturday. At the heart of the location, where voters experienced the unfortunate disruption of the electoral process, sanity has since been restored. But unfortunately, residents of Agor Palace Way, as well as voters, still recall the incidents which played out at this exact location. The eyewitnesses share their personal views of the electoral process being carried out in the area. Just some minutes when the security left, then they
You're still watching Nigeria Decides on Plus TV Africa. We're going to go to Abuja live now, where the collation continues.
After Ondo, we'll go to Abia. And after Abia, we'll take Yobe. And if more states join, we'll also take them until we exhaust all the states. So may I invite, or they're already seated, the state collation officer for Ondo, as well as the resident electoral commissioner. So you're welcome again. Kindly reintroduce yourself, the state collation officer, and the person accompanying you, and proceed to make your presentation.
Thank you very much. I am Kayode Shoremekun, Vice Chancellor, Federal University, Oye-Ekiti. And the place of work, of course, I've said that already, Federal University, Oye-Ekiti. State of assignment is Ondo State. Total number of LGS is of the order of 18. Total number of registered voters comes to 1,802,567. 1812567. Total number of accredited voters, 598,586. 598,586. Votes scored by parties. A, Party A, 507. 507. Party AA 4,349. 4349. Party AAC 4,414. 4414. Party AAP 564. 564. Party ABP 147. 147. Party ACD 576. That is 576. Party ACPN 414. 414. Party ADC 6,296. 6296. Party ADP 1,005. 1005. Party AGA 94. 94. Party AGAP 39. 39. Party ANDP 101. 101. Party ANN 311. 311. Party ANP 100. 100. Party ANRP 124. 124. Party APA 717. That is 717. Party APC 241,769. 241,769. Party APDA 588. 588. APGA 90. 90. APM 99. 99. APP 141. 141. ASD 76. 76. AUN 39. 39. BNPP 51. 51. BNPP 290. 290. CAP 51. 51. CC 135. 135. So people have long memories, eh? CMP 77. DA 156. DPC 237. 237. DPP 611. 611. Fresh 63. 63. FJP 94. 94. GDPN 525. 525. GPN 70. 70. HDP 32. 32. ID 5454. JMPP 4444. KP 2121. LM 5151. LP 1437. 1437. Maja 74. 74. MMN 465. M465. MPN 128. 128. NAC 55. 55. NCMP 25. 25. NCP 133. 133. NDCP 36. 36. NDLP 60. 60. NEPP 125. 125. NFD 384. 384. NIP 171. 171. NNPP 200. NNPP 279. 279. NPC 562. 562. NRM 96. 96. NUP 155. 155. PCP 4,829, 4829. PDP 275,901, 275,901. PPA 588, 588. PPC 273, 273. PPN 201, 201. PT 116, 116. RAP 51, 51. RBNP 56, 56. RP 99, 99. SDP 1,618, 1618. SNC 1,195, 1195. SNP 160, 160. UDP 96, 96. UP 44, 44. UPN 107, 107. WTPN 37, 37. Yes, 143, 143. YPP 1,224, 1224. Total valid votes 555,994. The rejected votes 30,833. Total votes cast 586,827. We will now go into the vertical summaries. We'll now go into the vertical summaries.
Prof, which one is vertical summaries?
That's the format I was giving to you.
Okay. You go to places where elections did not hold or cancelled and the justification. If that is what we mean by vertical summaries, you have my permission to go ahead. Do you have the 40G? Thank you, Prof.
Details of Details of cancellations. Effected in the elections. Akoko Northwest. The number of rejected Akoko Northwest. The total number of registration areas affected, 9. Number of polling units affected, 1. Number of registered voters, is this RA? Registration areas. To start again? RA 09.
Prof, let me simplify the complicated. Just go to the number of polling units and registered voters affected. Forget about the RAs.
Okay. Akoko Northwest. Number of polling units affected, 1. What's this? Polling units affected, 007. Oh, okay. Number of rejected voters.
Okay, Prof, it's not rejected voters, registered voters in that polling unit where election did not hold.
Okay.
I will suggest you just go to the summary, total number of polling units and total number of registered voters, and we proceed.
Okay.
Just go to the summary.
Rejected votes. Number of rejected votes. Yeah.
Okay. Are you there, Prof?
Yes.
Okay, please.
Total number of polling units affected, Akoko Northwest. The total number of polling units affected, 80. Total number of registered voters, 42,283.
Okay, when you submit your report, Prof, we'll reconcile these figures. I haven't made the presentation of the main result. We'll look into the Form 40, EC 40G, and then we'll reconcile these figures later. So now, kindly step forward to submit the broadsheet, the original results that you have just presented.
let me just confirm this.
It's not authentic or something.
No, it is. Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Thank you. Thank you, Prof.
It's a pleasure shaking your hand.
Thank you, Prof. All the best. Thank you.
Okay, I think on this note, we move. Thank you very much, Resident Electoral Commissioner Ondo, Dr. Rufus Akeju. Thank you. Thank you. Is Abia ready?
Yes, Abia is ready.
Okay, Abia, please take your seat.
Thank you very much. My name is Professor Chinedum Wajoba, Vice Chancellor Alex Ekweme, Federal University, Ndufu-Alike in Ebonyi State, and the state of assignment is Abia, with 17 local governments. And I have with me here the state reg.
My name is Dr. Joseph Ilo, the Resident Electoral Commissioner for Abia State. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The total number of registered voters in Abia State is 1,793,861. 1,793,861. The total number of accredited voters, 361,561. 361,561. I now go to the votes scored by the parties. A, that's a party A. 45,45. AA 51,51. AAC 212,212. AAP 251,251. ABP 35,35. ACD 110,110. ACPN 134,134. ADC 336,336. ADP 131,131. AGA 93,93. AGAP 239,239. ANDP 60,60. ANN 88,88. ANP 68 68, ANRP 61 61, APA 501 501, APC 85,058 85058, APDA 965 965, APGA 9,638 9638, APM 78 78, APP 48 48, ASD 21 21, AUN 16 16, BNPP 23 23, CAP 707, CC 18 18, CNP 33 33, DA 40 40, DPC 79 79, DPP 269 269, Fresh 47 47, FJP 69 69, GDPN 200 200, GPN 21 21, HDP 14 14, ID 18 18, JMPP 17 17, KP 18 18, LM 808, LP 92 92, Maja 15 15, MMN 85 85, MPN 30 30, NSC 37 37, NCMP 11 11, NCP 65 65, NDCP 12 12, NDLP 28 28, NEPP 23 23, NFD 41 41, NIP 25 25, NNPP 52 52, NPC 180 180, NRM 74 74, NUP 82 82, PCP 1489 1489, PDP 219,698 219698, PPA 195 195, PPC 113 113, PPN 42 42, PT 47 47, RAP 76 76, RBNP 38 38, RP 30 30, SDP 472 472, SNC 222 222, SNP 2828, UDP 109,109, UP 1919, UPN 707, YTPN 101, YES 1313, YPP 720 720. Total valid votes 323,291, 323,291. Rejected votes 21,180, 21180. Total votes cast 344,471, 344471. Thank you very much. Cancelled polling units. 7 local governments as follows. Aba North, number of polling units affected 22. Number of registered voters affected in the polling unit 17,069, 17069. Arochukwu local government, number of polling units affected 62. Number of registered voters affected 29,218, 29218. Equal local government, number of polling units affected 1. Number of registered voters 465, 465. Isiukwato local government, 2 polling units affected. Number of registered voters affected 6,205. Okwa East local government, 1 polling unit affected. Number of registered voters affected 437. Umuahia South local government, 9 polling units affected. Number of registered voters affected 5,824. 5824. Umunochi local government, 1 polling unit affected. Number of registered voters affected 607, 607. The total number of affected polling units 98, 98, and the total number of registered voters affected 59,825, 59825. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, the State Coalition Officer for the presidential election for Abia State, accompanied by the Resident Electoral Commissioner, Abia. Please step forward and present the originals of the results.
Before I shake your hand, let me check first. And this one?
Yes.
Thank you very much, Prof. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Right, Abia. Thank you so much. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Scope Abia. And this concludes the presentation for Abia State. Next is Yobe State. Is the Scope for Yobe around?
Yes,
okay. Yobe State, please.
My name is Professor Abubakar Musa Gundiri. I'm the Vice Chancellor of Federal University Ugari in Taraba State, and my place of assignment is Yobe State. There are 17 local governments in Yobe State. My reg is also going to introduce himself.
My name is Ahmed Makama. I'm Resident Electoral Commissioner for Yobe State.
The total number of registered voters in Yobe State stand at 1,365,913. 1365913. Number of accredited voters stand at 601,059. 601059. I'm going to give the distribution of votes across the various political parties. A, 102, 102. AA, 41, 41. AAC, 137, 137. AAP, 147, 147. ABP, 59, 59. ACD, 79, 79. ACPN, 94, 94. ADC, 162, 162. ADP, 107, 107. AGA, 173, 173. AGAP, 40, 40. ANDP, 29, 29. ANN, 37, 37. ANP, 66, 66. ANRP, 102, 102. APA, 1023, 1023. APC, 497,914, 497, 914. APDA, 600, 600. APGA, 226, 226. APM, 102, 102. APP, 63. ASD 50 50. AUN 42 42. BNPP 72 72. CAP 22 22. CC 74 74. CNP 55 55. DA 119 119. DPC 103 103. DPP 240 240. FRESH fresh 213 213. FJP 88 88. GDPN 622 622. GPN 84 84. HDP 42 42. ID 51 51. JMPP 30 30. KP 44 44. LM 12 12. LP 28 28. MAJA 69 69. MMN 298 298. MPN 96 96. NAC 35 35. NCMP 43 43. NCP 118 118. NDCP 31 31. NDLP 85 85. NEPP 46 46. NPF 36 36. NIP 56 56. NNPP 122 172 172. MPC 311 311 311. NRM 80 80. NUP 104 104. PCP 2107 2107. PDP 50,763 50763. PPA 406 406. PPC 151 151. PPN 49 49. PT 54 54. RAB 67 67. RBNP 27 27. RP 21 21. SDP 180 180. SNC 359 359. SNP 7676, UDP 2222, UP 1010, UPN 1919, WTPN 1010, YES 3434, YPP 3636. Total valid votes 559,365. 559365. Rejected votes 26,772. 26772. Total votes cast 586,137. 586137. Chairman, sir, on the day of the election, there was a Boko Haram attack in Gaidam, and the voting was delayed by about 2 hours. Thereafter, voting commenced, and elections were conducted across all the polling units successfully. Council votes. It affected 3 local government areas in Yobe State. Fune, 2 polling units with a total number of registered voters 1,237. 1237. It also affected Nigeria local government, where 3 polling units were affected, and the total number of registered voters stand at 1,760, 1760. It also affected Yusufari local government, where 3 polling units were affected, and the total number of registered votes stands at 1,410, 1410. The total number of affected polling units are 8, and the total number of registered votes in all the 8 polling units stand at 4,407, 4407. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Scope Yobe. Please step forward and present the originals of your results and reports. Thank you very much, Prof. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Rec. Thank you very much. Now this completes this round of presentation, but we have two more states that were airborne just before we commenced proceedings with the representation of the results for Ondo State. I'm sure they have touched down in Abuja, are on their way to this venue. And these are Ebonyi and Enugu states. So at this point, Secretariat, do we have any other state apart from the two states we're expecting?
Not.
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment, sir.
So we'll take another break, maximum 40 minutes, and then we come back and take Ebonyi and Enugu and any other state that may arrive before we resume. But we are sure of Ebonyi and Enugu states. It's now 10 after 9. Do we resume at 10 o'clock? Thank you very much. 10 o'clock.
Well, right now at polling unit 047, that's Sunday Adigu Cafe Street, alongside Ikeja, Lagos.
A little disappointed that it hasn't been as well organized as I would have liked. It's past 8 o'clock and we're still here waiting for these guys to set up.
Please make sure you remain safe and do feed us with as much as possible information as you get them.
With the number of ballot papers that is in their possession. So that because of like the one they recorded 148 for before, when they now went back, they now recorded 42 instead of 142. So I want them to just give us an assurance and we believe them with whatever they tell us now.
That I sure am not to do this job. And I think I saw it in the regulation that when you are doing this job, sweat and good. So there is a legal aspect to that. Thank you very much. All right. Hello, sir. My name is Senator Fatai, AD, August Party. My question, sir, when there is problem, there will be solution. So they already have the solution. So let's go this side.
APC 347 634 347 347 634 PDP 337 377 337 377.
You're still watching Nigeria Decides on Plus TV Africa. We just came back from the Collation Center in Abuja, where Professor Mahmood Yakubu has called for another break, and he says a maximum of 40 minutes. What we have, the results we have are from Ondo, Abia, and Yobe State. I still have with me Adewale Ademola Justice. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And joining us is Ihechukwu Ibeji. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
All right, gentlemen, the results are coming in, almost getting to the final lap of the race. They're expected to come in now are Ebonyi and Enugu State. They are on their way, so hopefully in the next 40 minutes we will get the results from those areas. Is there a difference, much difference, between the results that we have now and the results that we had in 2015? I think you have the 2015 figures.
Yep.
In Ondo, APC got 241,769. PDP came up, that's 275,901. What did they get in 2015?
In 2015, Ondo APC got 299 APC. Then for PDP, it was 251,000. So what has just happened now is that they had a higher figure for PDP now, but a bit lesser for APC.
Okay, well,
because the summation in 2015 for the two parties were 540,000.
Okay.
Unlike what we have now, this is just 512.
So what is this a win for, say, is it that PDP had made in marks in this part of the country?
No.
So what could have attributed this slight spike in figure? What would you attribute?
You know, there's a peculiar issue in Ondo State. You know, the state is an APC state, but quite before the elections, there were insinuations and there were rumors, though which have been substantiated now, that the governor of the state was working for another party.
Okay.
You know, Ondo is an APC state, and by that you expect.
But the governor is also APC.
Yes.
So how is he? Is he working against this party?
He was reported to be working, but that has been confirmed now by the result of the elections.
Do you agree with that?
Well, you see, the thing about it is that despite the fact that people voted definitely for both parties, the spike in figures most times, it tends to point to the direction of support, because voting election is all about structure. So if a governor is pandering to the whims and caprices of another party, the proof is there, it's clear.
But where is the place of free and fair and the people's will? If it is that it is the stronghold, if somebody is incumbent, the power of incumbency is still working, is that what you're saying?
Of course, yes. You see, you would not be so logical to divorce a state from the support by the people. What I mean, a state that is APC and you have a sitting governor that is APC, and an election, and you know, primordially, the governor is supposed to be the head of the party in the state. And if this party still has her house in order in the state should be delivered to the party of the governor of the state.
So the question still persists. Where is the place of free? Is it that this governor is doing so well, everybody in the state?
No. It's not a matter of doing so well or not. Freeness and fairness do not have to do with this. Do you understand? It's a matter of political control and influence, which don't go with what you call free and fair. You know, politics, democracy is not in itself a best form of government. It's just a government that is dictated by figures, shared demography. Do you understand? So freeness and fairness don't come to play here. It is a function of allegiance to the headship of the party in the state.
What you're saying is worrying.
The freeness and fairness, the freeness and fairness patters to the structure. So if, for instance, the structure belongs to me and I'm loved by the people of the state, they will pander to my whims and caprices. It's as easy as that. So democracy is determined, in this case, by electoral victories based on structure to a large extent.
If you look at the margin from Ondo and go to Yobe, it's almost astronomical. Like the entire state is voting for a particular party, and a paltry figure goes to the opposition party. This is 400 and
Ondo. Okay, you mean Yobe?
Yobe, this election result is 497,000.
It's even
50,000.
See, the margin you have in Yobe now is 440,000. Then it was 420.
So this has been like a persistent.
Of course, that's the pattern. No, that's the pattern.
There are some states. Look. There's no gainsaying. There are some states that are traditionally strongholds
of a particular party.
So some states are not surprises.
There's nothing you get from Rivers State.
So
Rivers.
I mean,
that will shock you.
It's a PDP stronghold.
Do you understand?
Why do we continue?
Maybe what you will see is a reduction in number. Maybe
but the pattern
is always same to parties. It's just like you're expecting votes from, okay, well, we've not yet received Kano, we've not yet received Katsina. These are strongholds of the ruling party.
So you see, sometimes when we make these, inferences and analysis, it worries me because you tell a Nigerian citizen your vote will count. There is absolutely no way that an entire state, everybody there agrees, when in reality we know that there are people who are dissatisfied with things that are happening in the state. And then how does this connect with the campaign? One man, one vote, your vote counts. One man, one vote, your vote counts. Isn't it worrying that a stronghold at the end of the day still determines the results at the end of the...
Sorry. You see, when you have a government in power and the government is performing, that performance will translate to electoral fortunes for that government through figures at the end of the voting process. So in
your assessment in Gombe State, the performance is...
Of course. The headship of the party in Ondo State is troubled. Do you understand? The governor of the state is expected, Dojo, to be the head of the party. But the result you are having now is a far cry from that, meaning the people politically are not in tandem with the leadership of the party. And luckily this has been prophesied. Some 3 weeks ago, it's been said severally across. This same thing would have resulted in Ogun State. Do you understand? Because, before the election, the governor of Ogun State was reported, not even reported. He was supporting actively another party. But immediately after the president's visit, he got born again and quickly mended fences. Do you understand?
I get the analogy you're making. I get the analysis you're making. But again, I think it's a worry every ordinary Nigerian who sees this kind of thing.
It's a
norm.
Numbers.
It's a norm.
It's a game of numbers.
That's democracy for you.
Look, it is politics. It's simply he who pays the piper dictates the tune. Now, the governor of a state is expected to have powers to control
the political fortune of the state.
Now, the structure runs down from the local government to the smallest
polling units,
constituencies, to the polling units. So, up, down to the agents, the party agents. If you see them at the polling booths, you see that they are relating with people as if they
canvassing.
They are canvassing. They are
moving. On election days, a lot of people don't vote. What they do is they mobilize. They are mobilizers. You see, okay, have you gotten the result for Kwara?
I think I have it somewhere here. The results are becoming.
You will see. You will see what happened in Kwara.
Like complete mobilization.
You understand? You see what happened in Kwara. It's not a function of the party. Do you understand?
If that result, we could use that as a case study to show
test case.
If that result has come out. Okay, so
okay, it's on the screen now.
See what we have from Kwara. APC having 308. PDP having 138. But you will see in Kwara, it is not about the political party. is about a personality, a particular political personality.
So
you have, it's just like you sitting in this Lagos today and you expect an election result that will turn APC to a loser.
You see that these numbers, what these numbers clearly shows you is that the ruling party mobilized massively.
Massively.
Now, the leadership of the PDP, who is the current Senate president, who is the one leading in that PDP, has been hit hard.
Would you say he was distracted?
Who? No. He was not distracted. It was projected negatively that made him lose electoral value. You understand? It was the previous head of the polity in Kwara.
What could have led to
I also think is that he was handling the presidential campaign. So his energies, his strategies.
No. That's not what happened to Kwara.
I think it contributed. Aside the other mobilization by the ruling party, maybe discontent from certain areas.
You know, the activities at the National Assembly, the roles he played.
If you're on ground at the critical time of campaigning, you can sway certain things.
No, you know there's something. The personality of the man in Kwara, as at 2015, he was the strong man on ground. But between 2015 and now, the roles he played is ascension to power at the National Assembly and some issues, court cases, criminal allegations, mismanagement of offices, and then political insinuations against him. And unfortunately, the biological war he's been having with his own sibling, Gbemi Saraki. You understand? Because you see, before now, he was in PDP. He migrated to APC in the wake of 2015.
Yeah.
Gbemi was out. But at a time when Saraki began to lose it personal by virtue of his personality and his ascension to being the Senate president, Gbemi began to initiate a move. But unfortunately, at the end, Saraki now lost out with the ruling party. Immediately he lost out. Gbemi clinched on that to come back to APC. And on getting back to APC now, there was now a serious rout in Kwara State, which Gbemi latched on. At that, the legislative, presidential, executive wahala in the National Assembly, coupled with, so many stones were thrown at him politically. And going, you remember the offer robbery. So many things contributed to his descent.
So many
but does that justify how? Okay, you go ahead.
And to come out in a very candid manner, we must give the ruling party a lot of commendation for Kwara State. I think in terms of the results now, that's what I'm talking about. Because for you to come and unearth the structures on ground, and then don't forget that he decamped. Now, see, and I keep saying this, I say this every time. When people say rig, it is not easy to rig an election. At the same time, it is also not easy for one person to decamp from one party and move,
which is
especially so close to the election and not leave some structure behind. And I think that's one of the things that just happened. So Lai Mohammed, who is a minister, all right, he is a figurehead for the ruling party in Kwara State, and I think that he has led this onslaught with the senators who have won now. And this,
Gbemi Sola particularly did a lot of underground work. So much local patronage. And, unfortunately, the Kwara people are a bit of Yoruba. And some traditional things played out. There was this report about the late father, Shifolushola Saraki, having it hard with Bukola Saraki. And then there was an onslaught where he made some declarations. And that was used again to twist the sentiment of people. But unfortunately, Adibi, my guy, Bukola Saraki, did not leave the APC. Maybe he might not have gone this way. But him leaving the APC and the sister now clinched on that to move back to APC. Then they launched onslaught, going by all the personal issues he had at the National Assembly. And the thing was
I must confess again, for Kwara State in particular, because Kwara State was one state that there was a lot of hula baloo. There was so much talk up and down about it. I must confess, the ruling party, they did quite a job in Kwara State.
Okay. Does that
and even
justify the celebratory language? I don't know if you're aware of the statement Lai Mohammed has issued.
Lai has not said. Lai has not said as
the sister is alleged to have, made some comments that many people have seen as misplaced. I haven't seen the comment, but I read that she made a comment that some persons have seen as misplaced and inappropriate at this time. Have you seen any of these comments?
What's the comment? Because the one I heard was that she's jubilating.
Yes, that she's jubilating.
That was expected. She's been in a personality quagmire with her brother even before the demise of their father. And now, I was at a political meeting where a very old politician, very old man, came and was mentioning there that their father, before his death, commissioned this old man to please reconcile Bukola and Gbemi. But the man said over 5 attempts have been made by him, but these two persons are unreconcilable. And you now see, now that one, the major guy, has lost out, and you don't expect over celebration
from the lady. Same parents?
The same mother gave birth to them.
Let's not take it away from the fact that, despite the singular strengths that are being highlighted here, this set of new leaders who have come up, both the senators and the reps, have been ensconced in obscurity in Kwara. So they had even been saying, right from time that this is an opportunity for
them to break away,
to retire the current Senate president. I think they had a point to prove.
You understand?
They had a point to prove, and that's for Kwara State.
Okay, let's go to Saraki's reaction now. Initially, when the results came out, people saw him retweeting comments of solidarity to him, stay steady and all of that. And then there was reports that he has congratulated the winner. And then he's come out now and said he hasn't made any such congratulatory call. Are you expecting some form of litigation after now?
Litigations?
I'm talking about I know there will be loads of litigation, but I'm talking in the particular Saraki's case now.
We've not grown to that level. Not yet.
I think we'll just let this pass through. If he feels that there are grounds for the good doctor who just beat him, Dr. Loregbe, incidentally a doctor, not a doctor too. There are grounds for him to take him to court. Trust me, he will.
He will, because
this is political. His political relevance has been.
But unfortunately,
I'm being told that Abuja correspondent is on the phone right now. Let's see if we can get him on to get the feel of the environment. Hello, Amadine.
Hello.
Been a busy day for you there.
Very busy day.
So could you tell us what is going on right now?
Right now, as you have seen from the live feed, they're on a recess, and the INEC chairman has promised that after the recess, 2 more states will be taken, those that were available before the recess. But we have several states that have been announced since the last time. Among all of them, the most shocking is Gombe State. Because you remember the governor of Gombe State, Dan Kwambo, who was a presidential aspirant for the PDP but lost during the primaries. It was expected, still in shock over the results.
Okay.
Well, the polls and the APC still won that state with over 60,000 persons. The others, Abia, Yobe, are states that others have expected will go the way the exit polls have gone.
Okay, Amadine, are there any
the presidential results, saying the party would not accept it, insisting that INEC must reconduct elections in certain areas. The APC also released a press statement, a counter press statement, calling on the international community not to be misled by the PDP. This tells us of the direction the PDP would want to go. They have outrightly rejected the results, those that have been announced and those that have not been announced. So we're expecting that the tribunals will be very, very busy this year.
All right. Thank you very much, Ahmadine. In a few minutes, we'll be joining you again live. Thank you for the work today.
Thank you, Felicity.
All right. You heard his thoughts. You seem to agree with him.
Yeah. No. You know, there was something he said about the PDP contending whatever is out. You see, what I expected would have been if the results as they are coming. Now, officially, except maybe officially they have all the results. Because condemning a baby that is not yet birthed, that is still in the womb, the surgery is about to be concluded, and you are now condemning, meaning they have an idea of what the total result is. One. Number two, if it were that there were some noted or notable frauds or irregularities in the collation, it wouldn't be reconduct of election. It would be to challenge the results so that a recount or a reconsideration of the papers will be done. Not that election should be reconducted.
I think that I want to believe that PDP is trying to play it from different cards, because if you also notice, their representative is right there at the live poll, at the live results center yeah. as the person of Osita Chidoka. Yeah. And of course, he stood up to make a few
during the
inquiries and comments. So while on one hand they are releasing a press statement, which I think, for me, I think is quite unfortunate. I think they should have just held on a bit more. And then Osita is there. I think they're just trying to come from both ends.
But isn't it a bit
premature?
You've already. I think you've responded to that already. I was going to say that the candidate of the PDP had actually, when he was asked if he will concede defeat should he lose the election, he said he was a Democrat. Isn't that contradictory to a statement?
He's a Democrat. But hey, he has put in so much energy. He has put in so much resources. He believes he has won this. Everybody they go into an election, even the least man who had 13 votes, they
still believe that he would win. And you will see, what you heard from the man himself, the contender himself, was his personal opinion.
Absolutely.
What you got from the party spokesperson will be the party's position.
But we also...
It was clear that the party was kind of taking a cue from him. It seemed as if the party structure were a bit comatose, if I may say. But in this case, it's different, because this party is representative of its candidate. Strong voice, and I dare say, just as your correspondent said, I dare say the tribunals are going to be a bit busy. And that's exactly the way I'm seeing it from where I am standing and from where I'm sitting. Because a lot of the votes have not yet been counted, and they are already telling you exactly what's on their mind. But at the same time, they are pointing out some of those things, some of those irregularities, some of those perceived irregularities at the center. Because it's building evidence. If you're going to go to the court, they are going to cover every angle. They bring this as part of evidence. We pointed this out at the point it was being counted. So it's building evidence, and that's exactly what they're doing. This is high wire politicking you're seeing here.
Adewale, the results that we've seen so far, is it something that you expected, or it's a surprise to you?
There's nothing surprising here.
Let me just surprise.
All I've gotten so far, there's none that is surprising. The only okay, there's one, Ondo State.
No, me just surprised.
And why is it surprising?
Why it's surprising is because the supposedly ruling party is APC, and the presidential election ought to have been delivered to the party.
Willy-nilly.
Do you understand? Ondo State is headed by an APC governor. The party is APC controlled. But unfortunately now, after the electioneering process, the result is anti-APC, meaning the party in reality is not on ground. And it's a shocker. What I expected the scenario of Ondo to play out in Ogun, but unfortunately it did not go that way.
I think that the greatest surprise for me, straight up, is the fact that they are working with numbers here. So in terms of that, you know, one of the greatest determinants of figures is numbers in terms of accredited voters and total numbers of voters. So the accredited voters are the ones who actually vote. So, for instance, we are saying that a River State is a stronghold for the PDP, right? At the end of the day, what comes out is maybe, for instance, 600,000 or 700,000.
Gentlemen, this conversation, sorry to interrupt you, this conversation will continue. Thank you very much, Adewale Ademola Justice. Thank you very much, Public Affairs Analyst. And of course, we had Ihe Chukwu Ibeji, Public Affairs Analyst as well. Thank you both for coming in. The program is still on. We're still waiting for the results. We're here live and we're going to stay till the very end to see who becomes the next president of Nigeria. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back. Well, right now at polling unit 047, that's Sunday Adigu Cafe Street alongside Keja, Lagos.
A little disappointed that it hasn't been as well organized as I would have liked. It's past 8 o'clock and we're still here waiting for these guys to set up.
Please make sure you remain safe and do feed us with as much as possible information as you get them.
With the number of ballot papers that is in their possession. So that because of like the one they recorded 148 for before, when they now went back, they now recorded 42 instead of 142. So I want them to just give us an assurance and we believe them with whatever they tell us now. I told you that I swear not to do this job. And I think I saw it in the regulation that when you are doing this job, it's swear to an oath. So there is a legal aspect to that. Okay. Thank you very much. All right. Hello, sir. My name is Senator Fatai, AD, August Party. My question, sir, when there is problem, there will be solution. So they already have the solution. So let's go this side.
APC 347 634 347 347 634 PDP 337 377 337 377.
APC 152-224 APC 152-224 PDP 259-997 PDP 259-997.
APC 289903. APC 289903. PDP 283847. PDP 283847.
You're still watching the election studios of Plus TV Africa. Joining me now is Amaka Okoye. She's the Plus TV correspondent. She's been on the field. We spoke earlier on the phone. Thank you for coming in.
You're welcome.
And of course, we have Femi Badebo, founder Benola Cerebral Palsy Initiative. Thank you very much, sir, for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, let's start with Amaka, who has been in the field all day. How did it all go down?
Okay, so I like to begin with the mood. Generally, it was peaceful. It was quiet. We saw presence of security personnel from the Nigeria police to the military men to customs service, you know, road safety corps, all of them. And it was calm, you know. It was a long, tiring day, and tiring, you know, people looked tired, but well, imagine. It went well finally, because at about 7:20 thereabouts, the final results were announced by Lagos State Returning Officer Professor Felix Kolawole. So he gave us the final result, and according to him, they are headed to Abuja tonight, where the final announcement will be made, hopefully.
Yeah, I think I watched a bit of it on live TV, and I know there was a time a party agent raised some issues. Did you notice any of them, and
Yes.
how was it handled?
So one of the things they raised, the issues were about the card reader malfunctioning, which cut across board, different people, even the agents who came to present for each local government. Some of them had issues like that. Alimosho had issues like that. Shomolu had issues like that. Bagada had issues like that, you know. So they raised concerns around that. And then, of course, the whole Okota issue, they talked about it because it meant that some people were not able to vote as a result of all of the problem that happened that day. And of course, you would expect that the returning officer would not have answers to all of these. So to most of the questions, he said yes, well, when he gets to Abuja, they would be able to respond accordingly. So, but people raised concerns that generally these things are the things that kind of mar our democracy and our, you know, our election processes. And we're just hoping that it will be better, especially for the election that will happen March the 9th. So.
You're a Lagosian, you have observed this election, and I'm sure you participated to a large extent.
Yes, I did.
Do you agree with some of the assessments so far that the violence in some areas of Lagos might have affected the outcome that she witnessed at the collation center?
I think so. I think people, especially in those areas, were expecting that there would either be a rerun or something should be done. But if you're going to do a rerun, it's going to have to be a few days. And you're going to have to guarantee safety of people out there to come out after what they've seen. So I think if, at least to complete the process, it was a good decision.
The situation with security during the process, there were places where police officers, there is actually a trending video where police officers were seen looking helpless while hoodlums destroyed the boxes that were used for voting. Are you one of those that would advocate that these officers be armed in subsequent elections?
I think we need to do a better survey of the each area. I'm sure you've also seen the picture of the people who voted in VGC and so on. Nice, serene environment. But don't forget that they already have their own security within that area. They don't have area boys. The area boys would not have had access to that place. Where I voted in Ajah was also a relatively calm area. 2 policemen were on ground. They couldn't have handled anything if there was some commotion, to be honest with you. But the crowd was well behaved. And from what I heard in a lot of other places too, around that area, it was a case of people having difficulty accessing their polling booths, because like some places they used the whole school, and you had like 7 different polling booths in a big area. And once you got in, you had problems. Some people had problems figuring out which of the booths, because it just told you this area, and now there's 7, and so on. Some places started a little bit late because you also had this logistics issue of putting 4 or 5 different sets of agents in one bus. And because of this same issue, they'll get to an area and they had difficulty identifying the position and that would hold up the other people in the bus being delivered. But I think like those areas where we had a lot of violence, I think arrangements should have been made for more than 2 policemen. Even if it meant a detachment just nearby watching over what was happening, because it was bound to happen.
Yeah, but the contradiction that would bring would probably be people. I think the INEC chairman during one of the press briefings said, when this issue was raised, said the reason that they disarmed the officers was because they've had complaints that it made people uneasy. Now we've seen cases like you highlighted. Okay, I mentioned that there were places where people stood by, these officers stood by, and they couldn't do anything, helplessly.
Well, if you've moved around certain areas in Lagos, you will know that, if I can use the word, the police have been compromised. At least the local police. The Okada riders, Molue drivers, and the area boys have no respect for these guys. So even if you're going to use police, you would need to bring police from another detachment, just like you had the, the returning officers coming from various locations, to strange areas. But using the local police did not help. The boys know them, they know the boys, they know the violent ones. And even if they were able to contain issues there, how are we sure those boys will not deal with them later? So where you saw the police restraining themselves, this guy is on drugs. You know what? One day fired up, your life's in danger. The policeman who in your video there was busy trying to struggle them with those ballot boxes. If I left to me, that man should be commended, because he could have been hurt.
Amaka, did you notice you were on the field like I was, and like he noticed, where all the places we went to was quite peaceful? Did you experience any sort of violence in the areas that you went to?
No. I was stationed at Apapa Access, if you remember, where Jimmy Akbaje, they voted. It was really peaceful, and they were really, really civil. There were heavy presence really of policemen, but again, they were not armed. If I remember, the ones I saw, they were not armed, and it was quite peaceful. People just went in, literally voted, walked away, went through the process with ease.
Yeah,
so
I remember thinking during my rounds at Ikeja that if all the elections go like this, I'm sure we'll have a smooth process.
True.
Only for me to get back to the office, and then there's this violence here, there's that violence here. We put a report together, right?
Yeah.
Let's take a look at that report, and then we'll come back and continue this conversation. Okay. We'll get that report ready, and then we'll continue with it. Let's continue with the conversation about security. Okay. What's your assessment in Lagos generally?
Like I said, Lagos is a huge cosmopolitan city, and you have flashpoints. Everybody knows. I mean, maybe not everybody, but most people know that there are flashpoints. There are places you don't move around carelessly at night, or even during rush hour periods. There are places where you are in your car and there's hold up and you begin to feel uncomfortable. Because some boys can just jump into the middle of the roads and just take control and do whatever they want. And that is the issue that I'm saying. For future elections, the relevant agencies should do a threat assessments and identify some of the splash points, and the presence of security should be heightened up. She was talking about her where she was. Where I voted is in local Ajah there, and I must tell you, the area boys took control, and they created a space for elderly. And so it was like for every 2 young people, 1 elderly person. So the elderly were given priority. I voted in less than 10 minutes, okay, and so on. So when the leadership of the area has them under control, things go well. But if you look at the residential areas, but if you look at where you had the problem, it's not. It's more of a business area. Yeah, there are people, there are residences behind the shops and all, but up front, it's an open area where you just have shops, and that's where this boys operates. They help with parking, they help with all sorts of, they own certain segments in those areas.
Now, would you say the Enlightenment campaign and vote not fight maybe did not trickle down to these people if we are at this point still having people snatching boxes and setting them ablaze?
They didn't snatch the boxes for themselves. That's what you must understand. Certain people, elderly, quote-unquote responsible people, set them out.
That's the point I'm trying to make. After, don't be used as a talk. That's something that's been, dropped over and over again. And we still have situations like this. What can we do differently, let me say, to actually get the message to these young men that they should stop being used by politicians for their own selfish aim?
We must create jobs. You see, there's a problem. These people we call area boys, they are children of the community that are allowed to just live wayward lives, while the leadership in those communities send their children to good schools, elite schools, train them well. And they continue to sponsor them to live this wayward life, easy money, drugs, and so on. And so they think that's the way to live. And as they get older, it becomes the only way to survive. And so they go into extortion. And what do? All those shops, parking spots, areas, they own them. And some of them make good money. But it's by intimidating the areas. I mean, you need to go to some markets, Ted Joshua and so on. You'd be buying from some women. And these boys will just show up without even blinking. You'd see the woman or the man, the trader, just reach out, whether it's money or some things, they'll just give it to them and then he moves on. So it's like he's come for his allocation for the day, you know? So it's become a way of life. So I think our so-called community leaders must begin to, those are the people we need to address. So like I'm saying, when I heard some politicians say, we don't want the military, we don't want this, you look at it and you say, why? You don't want the soldiers armed, why? You see, the average person knows the policeman is his friend. The average law-abiding citizen knows that even the military is there to protect him. But the man who wants to cause trouble doesn't want them there. And once he has succeeded in making sure they will not be there, he's the one who actually assures the area boys that they will not be there, they're not be armed. So when they come, they size up the area. They've already had some things to smoke or drink. They're already high. And they actually see that, oh, yes, nothing's happening. Look at the number of boys at that Ikotawe and see all the number of individuals who were running away from them. Because if you interview some of them, they will tell you these guys were not looking normal. They were already ready to do anything. There was a particular area where they came at first, and the people thought to take them on, try and throw stones. They went to their vehicle, came out with guns and started shooting. And that's what led to the death of one young man. So when you see people like that, you can't reason with them and you can't argue with them.
It's quite unfortunate, really. We do need to find a way to get through to these young men. I mean, we hear it all the time that they are the future. The young people are the future of tomorrow. If these people continue in this line, what future is there? That means the more the politicians or those that are trying to get elective positions are getting there, the worse these people are also working to sabotage the same effort that these people are trying to upgrade.
But have you noticed that unfortunately we're beginning to have a new set of politicians who are the offshoots of these guys, because a few of them become sophisticated, they make money. And you've seen those of them now who drive nice cars. You've seen those of them who even have their kids abroad, and they're all quote unquote touts. They become big boy touts, so to speak, and they are the ones who don't want this business to die. They're the ones grooming younger ones. Their own children will not be in that trade because they've also moved up. But they're the ones who, that's the way they have grown to where they are.
All right, let's try take another angle to all of this. Your experience, you were on the field like I was, and you were out again today, but I wasn't there at the collation center. What's your overall assessment of the conduct of the election so far?
So far, I would say that it went well. There were challenges. Could it have been better? Yes. Are there things that we can change for the next elections? Definitely yes. But overall, it was peaceful. It was successful. They started from 10 p.m. yesterday, as you know, and it took a long time. One of the things that, when we spoke to them, we asked them, why is it taking so much of this time? Is because they needed to collate and then put on everything manually. So there are areas that we need to improve, to make it a lot more easier. People don't have to be there for 2 days or 2 nights in order to get the results from election. So those are areas that we can improve, but generally we would say that it went well. Security was in place, like I told you earlier. People were calm, it was a long day and tiring, but people were patient, Party agents behaved themselves, for lack of a better word. Nobody was agitated, so to speak. People raised concerns, about the card reader and all of that, but it was managed well. They spoke, they expressed their dissatisfaction, and then people praised INEC also, understanding that they had to go through all of this process gently and be able to account for every local government area. It was good. The only place, I think, at the point where some people got irritable was when some representative of local government area were not able to actually give the result. There were discrepancies. They were asked to go. They came back. Ali Mosho, for instance, they were asked to go the first time. They came back again. The numbers were not corresponding. They came back the third time until they got it rightly. But overall, it was peaceful. It was successful.
Did you see any external observers, like foreign observers around this place?
The EU were there. There was Cecilia Kane, an Irish woman who was there from EU election observer, but she couldn't speak to us in terms of their observation and assessment because they have someone who was supposed to do that, and I believe they would have released the statement today, 12 p.m. as she told us. And then there was another lady, foreign observer. She also would not speak to the media. She says their representative is in Abuja, and so she just came to see the process. She would write her own assessment and give back to her superiors, but she wasn't allowed to speak to media. So there were 3 of them, yes, a man and the woman, Irish, 2 Irish, and then this woman from, I don't know exactly what part of African country that was there. So they were there, yeah.
I also had a similar experience. I'm wondering, is there something wrong with, just maybe speaking about the process itself, rather than waiting to get a collective statement made? Because it seems to be, the norm with the foreign observers. Do you have a thought about that?
Yeah, well, you see, when you are representing an organization, you don't just speak off the cuff. They're under instructions and they should speak as a body. You saw the ECOWAS have came out with a statement early today. AU have come out with a statement. It's a collation of this input from the... Somebody cannot just sit in Abuja and write something like that. So, again, like I said, they have to be diplomatic about what they say. So I think it's prime and proper.
And I believe it must reflect the thoughts of those who are on ground and then, you know, passed on to their superior who would now speak on behalf of each of the body.
Yeah, we certainly needed some clarity there because I'm sure a lot of persons will be wondering. I mean, journalists I know asked questions like I did. The man took his time. A few of them took their time to explain why they wouldn't do it. But I was just like, okay. It's a process. I mean, nobody's going to kill you if you make a simple, candid statement that there was no...
But you know that even with government officials.
Yes, yes. Okay.
Very few people will...
I still need to ask you... I still need to ask you your assessment of the entire electoral process. Did you think INEC was prepared for this election despite the 1-week delay?
Yeah, I think they've done well. You see, the timing for the release of the funds did irreparable damage to whatever capacity INEC had. When it comes to printing material, especially the sensitive materials that you need to print under certain conditions, even the fact that we're printing them abroad, it costs money, but it also creates its own problems, bringing them into the country and then distributing them around and so on, collating and all that. So the minute we didn't get the money out in time, then the number of political parties that ended up being on the ballot, and then the various court injunctions that just kept causing problems. You see, you cannot release a ballot paper, let's say for the presidential election, and leave out 1 or 2 parties. And there's no point having some parties on it if they are no longer in the game. So INEC had so many things to think about, to deal with, to make sure that they were getting these things right. And that created a lot of problems. So whether the army, you'll be amazed at the number of trucks that they have at various locations to do certain things, just lying there for emergencies and so on. You'll be, during the Abacha era, when we were having so much problems with tankers, the army moved fuel all over the country and helped to sort out some of these things. So the kind of equipment that the Army, the Navy, the Air Force has that can be utilized for some of these things, we must incorporate this stuff. And I had, when people were talking about INEC buying boats and all, it's like, hey, you're taking this thing out of context. This kind of things, it's like you're trying to run, let's say FIFA, you're trying to do World Cup. You don't now give the Football Association to start building stadiums or building hotels. What you do is you look at people within your system who would use this kind of thing or be in better capacity and increase their capacity. And at the end of the day, that budget would not reflect as election money. It would just be that we are increasing the capacity of these organizations for them to be able to deliver, and thereafter they perform better for the system. I think we must really begin to think about that.
Because you share similar thoughts about the process, because you have been in the thick of things as well.
Yes, I mean, like I earlier expressed, we can be better. It can be better, but, well, let's say we'll give them a pass mark. It wasn't entirely bad. There are things that they can improve. I mean, speaking to the resident INEC official who was there today, he agreed that, yes, they had issues with some logistics, you know, but they can be better. So it's a growing experience, really, for them also. So it somewhat looked like they were overwhelmed, especially with all of the things that came into play. But we can be better, you know, certainly we can be better. We can improve. And for him, again, part of what he said to us is that they are building on the lessons from this time, because there's still another election ahead of us, you know, March the 9th. So yes, they have to learn their lessons. And so in his words, he said, we are expecting a smoother election come March. So
I certainly hope we will get a smoother process. Before I let you guys go, the results that have been that has been announced so far. Let me come to you, Femi. What are there places that surprised you, or this is something most of the results met your expectations?
Middle Belt, some parts of Middle Belt, like, well, let me just make, some of them are quite surprising. Some were expected, but then you know what these politicians can do. There is the mood of the people, which sways you at the last minute based on certain other things that happen on the ground. So I can tell you that Kwara is a big one. Okay, and then you find that even Lagos, Nasarawa, you name them, the interesting things that have happened. But for me, one of the take-homes is here that there's a very disturbing voter apathy.
True.
You see, this time around, INEC bent over backwards to get people to register, to get people to pick up their PVCs, and I think even the parties mobilized and all that. But you see, after picking up this, I think people just pick them up as another form of identity card.
Yeah.
You know, so the turnout is quite disturbing, and I think the politicians need to work harder. INEC cannot force people out. Politicians need to work harder. You see,
some people have said it's a result of a growing distrust.
Yes, that's where I'm going. When I said you need to work harder, if we voted for you last time, you went to the Senate, and we didn't see your tail light for the last 4 years, why should we bother? And if we voted for A massively as we thought, and B won, why should we even bother again? So this is where the problems are. You'd find that it used to be the